I feel like you can control what the other team is wanting to do. And when you do that, then it just gives you a win condition. It's easier to follow.
Oh, I just hate people that play her in deathmatch because she's so ridiculously broken with her HP regen in deathmatch.
Well, you have the.
They do run standard dive. They were running Orisa against us on defense, though. We'll see if they do that.
Well, I think with the Junkrat, this end's really going to help because 120 damage with those grenades. The Discord Orb can really flip over.
They really like to have Farah and Dalton flank. They really love to take this high ground here and force people back. Force people to take statue. See, Toronto has a free reign over here. Pankert plays too aggressively sometimes. He feels like he has all this room, but he ends up playing by himself a lot and gets picked. Like, they end up getting a tick, but because Panker's already dead, Toronto really has no pressure on this point. They can't really touch, and all their members are now behind them.
Well, now they're kind of scrambled, yeah.
They kind of have to fall now and reset. Savage is going to do a really good job of sustaining there, like actually playing smart, not getting picked apart, playing together, landing poke on this far, zoning her, killing Panker when he plays too aggressively.
Savage is able to hold on there, as you mentioned. They did get that all-important first tick and a little bit more, but we'll see if TO can find anything.
Ooh, Ace gets booped forward. I get some free damage in the poke, but or free damage in the choke. Kowloon's getting pressured a lot. Ooh, that was a good tire. Wow, I'm surprised how well Savages is actually like absorbing this Pharah damage, and then they're just eating the pressure up and then holding their shield for a longer amount of time and then retaking and pushing out together. They aren't getting too greedy, taking like these 1v1s. They're absorbing whenever you use your cooldowns as a dive and then recontesting with the larger shield. And they've done a really good job of shutting down this far with no diva. It's really impressive. Toronto is just playing super greedy right here. I think they're so used to actually just like first timing, killing the enemy team on first point here, that they aren't used to actually like being held up here and being contested. Because they're playing super sloppy and like people are actually dying a lot. Like people are playing way too aggressive here, where the rest of the team isn't set up to follow up on their dive. Yeah, you can see them, they're just falling here. This is really weird seeing Toronto misposition like this. They're just getting super, super greedy with their positioning. Okay, they end up swapping 3 picks. 4 picks. See, it's not working. I think it was just them playing too greedy. Like, their first push, like, Savages just, like, counterplayed them, like, super well with their positioning, but here, they were just playing too greedy. Like, Panker kills himself, like, 2 or 3 times, and then the rest of the team ends up playing too aggressively and not resetting fast enough. So, like, a lot of time's gone by. This is, like, really, really impressive by Savages. Positioning smart together and protecting each other and actually absorbing the pressure.
Can Derek get another good rip tire here? Here it comes. Is he gonna go it? They have grab up as well.
Ooh, that was really close. I think they tried to make a play with. Let's rewatch this. Panker ends up swapping to Orisa. So Savages have combo right here, and they ideally want to use combo.
Can Derek get another good rip tire here? Here it comes.
He almost loses his tire here, getting it pulse bombed. Ace of Spades is really low though. I don't know if this is the correct tire placement. It's pretty close. I think I would have liked to have seen Derek fly his tire up the building here and have a higher vantage point to actually drop it down on the support, so it's harder to hit rather than it be going in a straight line basically at the Zen, so Zen was able to take it down. But Ace of Spades was hit with a Pulse Bomb before, so he's still really low and he's getting healed up here. And their tire doesn't end up killing anyone, so Ace of Spades is forced to walk forward to, like, what he wants to do is swing on this. He should have just been holding a shield and let other people behind him actually kill people. But we end up seeing just traded kills here, but tire goes down and they've lost main tank for main tank. But we see here, they pop trance. But they don't end up getting like that much off of it. Like both the tanks end up getting rezzed, and Panker is able to like get walked up on. He just right clicks though, or left shift rather, and then just like sustains up, hides behind a shield, and like he isn't pressured enough. They end up having both their main tanks just walk up though, and like Capo's end up like shooting them. But I think if Toronto had made the swap earlier and actually had ults, that would have been like a way more swung fight in their favor. The Savages ended up just basically stabilizing using ults. But because the fight went so long and Toronto didn't end up having ults to like actually contest them, they're already at what 70 on Grav and 70 on Tire.
Very rare from Hui. He's somewhat slow on his grabs. Normally he's a real all-star in this part
They
of the
took
map.
so much junk poke in the choke. They're just walking too slowly. They need to go through Cinema and actually take the high ground. Ooh. That wasn't good. He got too greedy. The Roadhog's just been contesting him there, and he's been lucky because the Roadhog hasn't been able to hook him, but he walked too far up on Crackalack and just gets hooked, and he isn't able to get rezzed. Kowloon, I think, wanted to res him, but then he ends up just getting stuck while he's in the room. And now trying to retake the point is going to be really difficult whenever you're missing that many people.
By his own Helix rocket, and Toronto Esports finally in overtime able to take that point.
Didn't expect that. Poro got taken down very early in that team fight. I thought that was the pick that Savages needed. I mean, Poro, he's very close to a Dragon Blade. They were probably depending on that Poro would get a Dragon Blade somewhere in that fight to help them, but obviously they didn't even need him, just in general. Moving on now.
At the very beginning of that fight, he had his eyes locked with Derek. Derek was trying to get that riptire through the hotel.
Basically, they just grouped up together, and now they're pushing out. Toronto didn't push that far forward, but they don't really need to. They have a lot of good damage for this. I think Poro kind of swapped so that they could dive, but they don't really have dive. They have like sustained tanks and supports with dive, so it's a little bit discombobulated of a comp. Poro was just hiding behind them, is able to just blade everyone. What even happened? How do they lose so hard? It's like, this is fine. They're like pushing back. Panker puts his shield down, contests them. I just don't know how Savages get so low in the back line, because they have a Rhine shield up this whole time. Is it just Hui gets too aggressive with his grab? So you can see here, Toronto, Pankers, 3 bars, Hawkmay, 3 bars. Crackalackins half. What hits them right here? You can see Becky Lynch, and Derek drop like so fast. I don't know what hits them. Okay, I want to actually see this to see what wins them the fight. Is it a deflected grenade? We can see Poro is playing over here. I'm so curious to see how this fight is so lost so quickly. Okay, so we see Genji dash up in the air. Oh, he blades down on top of them and gets a slash. That's how he gets 2 of them so low. He basically insta-kills them. That's super strange to see though, because they've grabbed. Okay, Poro just won that fight for them. Basically just by like hitting like 3 people with slash, and dash and just getting them low instantly. Well, I think because the fight was taken that late, like near the point,
It's
they might not be able to contest unless they have Lucio. They don't have Lucio. They're probably just gonna get the cap.
flat out damage, but they don't have a flanker. They're not gonna make Toronto Esports
Yeah, that was a
change
wonderful
direction
boop.
Yeah,
Dalton
they
with a
just whole
bump
hog
from
them.
behind finds both DPS for the Savages, and
They're
that's
using
gonna
ults
result
too.
in
Once they
a
notice that they
counter
probably
on the
can't get on it, you just want to
Savages.
die.
Oh, Becky Lynch going down to Poro and Dalton. Dalton's still in the backline doing whatever he wants. Poro's gonna get charged down
They're
by
off the
Ace of
payload, though.
Spades. Riptire coming from Derek, and yeah, as Puffer pointed out, the payload not moving right now.
And there you go, the Savages, man. You know, they weren't able to take the fight that they wanted because they didn't have a flanker.
Savage is trying to group up and push them back now.
Dalton, however, was the flanker. He was able to go into the backline.
I don't even think Toronto's comp is that optimal right now, but they've just been zoning them basically with their tanks. If the tank war, they basically win because Roadhog Orisa is gonna like kill Rhine Shield unless you're able to punish them. Then they Savages makes the swap so that Derek can actually play Genji and actually pressure them.
Predict fire
Switch
strike.
over to Tracer to get finally some flanking action. Maybe they'll finally be able to hold it here.
Ooh,
And
Capo
Ace
got
of
really
Spades
low
with
there.
a great fire strike onto Capo. The Savages
You want to
will
have
be
people in
pushing forward
secret
heavily
here
now
on
on this
Savages to actually like fall behind the Orisa shield and actually punish them
Teams are kind of running
and
this
hope you don't get
hybrid
hooked
dive DPS and some
or
pretty
killed by Hakume.
pretty slow and heavy tanks.
Yeah, Ace of Spades gonna be sticking to that. Ryan does have Shatter in hand. I would love to see a switch off on
Is Poro just pulling another blade?
Comes the blade from Poro. Can he find anything? He finds.
He gets Hui. I don't know if that's valuable enough though. Like he gets the energy off of him,
So much
but they popped Valk and Blade to try to do that, and I think Tracer Bomb
that time.
try to
Able
kill him.
find a lot of
They end up just Valking and resing those people. I mean, I guess Hui's low now.
Becky Lynch now gonna take down Poro.
Poro, yeah.
Two-man
I don't think it was as
Here comes
valuable.
a grab into a blade from Derek. Transcendence
They're
is
split
going
up
to
now
be
though.
nice
That's the biggest thing is like they had the Zen
Hakume.
basically dealing with Tracer and Genji in the
Dalton's gonna
backline.
find a kill onto Becky Lynch. Poro finds Kelly, and there's no heals left for this Savages defense. And there we go. Hui Kappa, the only
Yeah, I don't even think that the Genji got that much value, but it just split up the team where their focus was split up.
He's making his
There
way
he goes,
in
yeah.
between the legs of people, just doing his best to stay alive. The Savages now regrouping for their last hold. They've got 50 seconds remaining. Becky Lynch, however, does have his transcendence, so they will get on the site no matter what. Now it's a question of how long.
You can walk out with Trance here though and contest the cart.
Toronto Esports looking for engagement here too. Dalton's
It's like getting whole hogged and like damage boosted, but
not able to do a whole lot. Got his Dragon Blade, looking for the supports now.
oh, Poro got another blade. He was farming these tanks from behind.
A big shatter from Ace of Spades, though. He's able to find one, but Poro is gonna
They were trying to match Genji v Genji, but I think you want to just actually have pressure on the Genji itself.
Poro able to finish Derek off, and there
Because he ended up just farming blade there like super quickly.
fantastic Dragon Blade yet again from
And unless you have
Poro made an absolute
Trance really, like the Genji isn't getting contested enough. Because like with Hog and Orisa it's really hard to contest him. Orisa really doesn't do much to Genji. And then Hog you actually have to hook him, but
You may start off with a
he
good
can be playing in safe spots where you can just cancel out hook.
good foot, and then sadness shortly after.
So I don't know if you swap like to a third tank with Diva or Monkey and just contest the Genji, but he needed something to contest him.
Jimbo Ed.
His last chance at getting Lucio boop at first. I think I called out a contest. Yeah.
On the
And then Toronto is using what they were playing against us, the Orisa. I haven't really seen this strat before, but they seem to
And now this is something we're seeing
like using it.
increasingly more popular as people are starting to figure out how to really
They have shield advantage. You can't walk through this choke
make use of a
with Orisa shield because you can get sucked back in and then they can just grenade you down.
Oh,
This ended up being our pushes right here. Is that ended up happening?
you have
Or we try to walk in and
out his
we can't get past the statue.
what is it? Halt? It's called Halt. Puts out Halt, and the Junkrat just feeds right into Halt. The Zarya as well. There's so much burst damage and splash damage. They can do a ton into that Halt. And look at that. The Riptide
Savages are looking to combo right here. You want to have longer sustained fights though because you want Zarya to maintain her energy and actually have her landing right clicks on people and actually like hitting tanks so you can actually build your grav. You don't want to have these short contests. You want it to be long enough so you can actually build grav. Poro got tired so fast though.
Mercedes, Pearl,
First push, so he ends up
trying to
just
take Cal U. However,
getting a
you get the
pick, and they're playing slow.
you either get the res
They're
or you
sitting in
don't.
theater here. They need to get in top of theater and actually
First guy kicked off the team.
get over top.
Kind of weird playing with him, but filling in for
You wanna actually get behind this Orisa shield to actually like pressure her.
telling us wonderful
You can't just play this poke game because Hui's just hitting right clicks into the Orisa shield.
force it out from Toronto Esports. Capital able to pick off Panker too. That's huge.
Pankers walks too far forward here.
Kraken lacking as well.
You want to make it through the Orisa shield. This is good. You want to actually walk further forward and punish the Orisa. Capo's doing a really good job of hitting arrows here. That's how you win. You contest the Orisa. You actually get in her face, or you get around her and start shooting her. So they did a good job after that first push of actually like learning what they should be doing.
It depends now how Toronto Esports play this, right? Toronto do have to be cognizant of the fact that
You can also take fast engages, I guess, against the Orisa where
if Toronto's able to make
you get her to place her shield and you haven't used any of your shield yet as Ryan, and then you walk forward as soon as you see the shield get placed, and so you're contesting basically the 900 HP shield to the 2000 HP shield, and then just walking forward with it, and then killing their shield before they kill yours, and then engage on them.
this next fight draw out
And that's
just enough
basically what they did.
and builds up that next 30%.
Not exactly, but
It
it's
could
close.
look, Poro has his rip.
Who he's hiding with the grav.
He's 91%. So
They have options here on what they want to use. They have 6 ults.
we'll have to see what the Savages do. It looks like they're positioning for a grab already though.
Just waiting. Obviously, they don't have a diva. No chance of eating the Dragon Strike.
Here comes the Dragon Strike. No, they're gonna.
Derek uses his tires a bit too close to the ground. I think he needs to ideally use them, like drive them up buildings and stuff to get him like a higher ground position, because he ended up just having it in like line of fire, and I think it just gets hit by like grenade spam and then Zarya. That dragon is like really late, but doesn't really matter. It ends up zoning the rest of the streets. I think Toronto has enough time to come back.
End up launching that Dragon Strike.
They took it around close to bookstore, so they might have a little bit of time.
Kind of interesting. I don't know why he decided to launch it there, but whatever. I'm sure he'll build it up fast enough as he's already nearing 20%.
How in the world does he get a kill?
Already able to pick
Poro must have been behind them that whole time and he gets a pick. Mercy's gonna get the res though, so that ends up not being a good trade. And they get there in time, but they're missing someone. I don't like that grav. It ends up being so close, but I don't think they should have lost that. I went back too far. Let's see. This will do it at 43.
launch it there, but whatever. I'm sure he'll build it up
It's okay.
fast enough as he's already
Doesn't end up mattering that you get these picks right here
going on to
because the Mercy just ends up resing it. So ideally it's a 6v5 fight for Savages. Savages should not lose this. They maybe trance a bit early just because Kowloon was back resing. I think they walked too far forward where they could have just waited to take this engagement. But you have to remember, Toronto has more in-fight damage if they have Dalton and Derek there because the Hanzo has to be hitting shots for it to actually be as valuable. So he's basically got to be landing as many shots as he can to compare his damage to Dalton. But because Toronto doesn't have Poro there, their damage is not the same, but Savages doesn't end up getting any value. They end up shattering, but it doesn't end up getting anyone. They're just all playing behind the shield and they're contesting. And then they also just pop trance, wait for their trance to run out. Toronto is like tanks are low, but everyone else is playing safe right here. They end up grabbing everyone off the point. What kills them? I think it's basically like a damage boosted soldier right click ends up basically being like a nuke enough to do enough damage to their backline. I think Savages just needed to wait a little bit, and they had the man advantage where they pushed too aggressively
And Toronto Esports won the
and they
fight.
missed position.
You can tell Toronto is in the Savages' heads. So you can go back to that
Like
grab
allow
and
themselves to be
riptire and
grabbed, and
dragon
Cracklocken
strike
is
that you
failing
saw
his right clicks through jump C.
in the first corner here. Both of them,
Oh
well
boy.
positioned. The grab and riptire, that should be a combo that everyone knows. But you can tell they even launched the dragon strike to say,
Alright.
let's make sure we get this. And it ended up being a good idea because the riptire did end up getting destroyed. But normally, I think a lot of teams would just use the dragon striker.
Capo makes a swap here, they're running triple tank.
I mean, even then, the Dragon Strike didn't even do damage. The one kill that
They're
Moth
pushing
was
from the
able to
left.
get was from his
They
scout.
need to get Poor off high ground.
The Savages will be taking this engagement directly from the back of the
So what you'd want to do here is send Derek on the high ground and then bubble him and just take the 1v1 against Poro, ideally. Or zone them like this and then engage on one side of the team.
Get destroyed by Poro. Panker picking up a kill onto Ace of Spades. This could
I think they peeled back to deal with the tire, and then Ace of Spades was still holding forward, so he ends up falling.
this payload in the second point.
They had to back up as a unit. Capo is zoned right here.
If they can capitalize on this, they can feed a lot of
They're
wealth
split
and
up, and they're just
Savages
sitting here.
even more.
Capo
Look how
looking for
far
a
in he
pick,
is.
though.
Time up
Missed
getting
the
far.
arc.
He's gonna go
He's
down.
body blocked.
How is he so alive?
Oh boy, Savages just end up falling and getting staggered for a really long time here.
100 charge, and he's 20% away from getting that graviton.
Oh no, they're panic popping. They've taken so much bow care. They've let Toronto basically build their grav back up, get full energy, and Poro's just been spamming grenades at them without getting contested this whole time. Because they've spent so much time like standing around here, they've just like let them all build ults back up again. Capo was farming Poro this whole time, and then he was zoned as well, so they haven't been able to push aggressively onto them to punish them. And then they lost someone. They lost Ryan initially because he was too far forward, while the other team was split on doing another thing. And then they had to wait for the Ryan to come back, and then Capo was getting farmed, and then he had to back up, and then he died, and now they're popping Valk just to make it a 6v6. But they've fed Toronto so many ults, it's not good. Moth dies. I think if Moth didn't die here, it would have been way more optimal for them, where he could have just rezzed his team. Poro tries to carry with a tire, gets 2, but if Moth would have just played safer, he would have been able to res and win this fight.
That hook's gonna help, but Dalton, is he gonna go down? Tell me he gets away. There he goes. Okay, I was about to say that would have been a disservice.
Moth comes late here. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. I think he just wasn't pleased with himself dying the last fight, and so he pops it to try to hold here, but rezzing people behind, like near pub, and then having like people on point just means that one of the groups is going to get collapsed on and killed. So that Valk ends up being a waste.
He has that riptire ready to go. Let's see if he can get anything out of it.
Absolutely, Derek now on the high ground using the riptire gets taken out instantly.
Take Derek down. He's gonna get instantly.
Ooh, that's a big shatter.
From Ace of Spades. Takes 3 down, but Supercharger up. Supercharger down.
Savages does a really good job of actually contesting.
Pushing all the way to the spawn door right now. Hui finding a couple kills. Here goes Dalton.
Not letting them set up behind the shield, actually playing aggressively into the Orisa and shattering them. They did a really good job of retaking that. Retaking that point after Toronto had like a really good hold on them, but then they started to use ults too aggressively, where if Moth would have saved his Valk right there, they probably would have had a better chance of winning that fight, because he could have popped it early and then actually had reses and sustained on the point.
Gonna be heavy with that Junkrat. Let's see if he can find some shots here.
Okay, Dalton doing a smart thing.
They're using Orisa on offense now, so they're trying to play slow, and it looks like they aren't playing the dive style, because I don't think they like what happened. Ooh, that was so close to being a headshot. So I think ideally they're just trying to like kill off the shield right here, and then give room for the Widow to actually get shots. But they need to have pressure on the point. They're just rotating together. They're having oh, Savages are really lucky here that people aren't falling and that Dalton's hitting body shots. They should have had tanks contesting first, because look at how many body shots he's hit.
Louis missing a hook.
Could have been all
Meanwhile,
headshots.
Toronto's on the point. They
Derek's able
the
to
picks,
contest
but
him.
Derek, rugged jumping up, gonna take down Dalton.
Is anyone gonna get on
Poro,
this?
though Hamayan says there's 2 DPS here. He's gonna find 2 kills.
Oh, Derek pops
Derek on the
off, dude.
point, finding 2 kills. That's 3 in the
This is actually really good, like waiting a long time to contest and then actually forcing onto the point afterwards. They really just ate up the clock. They didn't let them full cap. I mean, they gave up ticks, so they have to like take the point themselves, but they put themselves in a good position. That kill feed at the end, Ace of Spades just kills everyone.
He got all 6.
It's off the
Open field, it's just not a lot of fun. If they were able
point of view, they were playing to not lose the point. They figured, you know, we got 2 minutes in the time bank. We know we can.
I think Panker's actually getting tilted here because normally on offense he's so used to just playing Winston and just like absolutely just mopping up the team, like sacrificing himself. And then their second strategy was picking Orisa and actually like trying to sustain battle them and then actually get picks with the Widow or some strat where they like flank the high ground and then have him like playing point and putting pressure on the enemy shield and then forcing them back into dark and then picking them off from there, having the shield advantage with the Orisa. But now he's picking Reinhardt, which I think is his comfort pick. I know he's been playing Winston for a while, but he's an OG Reinhardt.
They inadvertently gave themselves a much harder road than they needed to.
Absolutely. Savages now going to be rolling out of spawn with Capo on that Hanzo. And he looks to be taking high ground near the balcony. Going to be shoving Dalton off of his perch, or that's the objective at least.
Okay, Savage is learning. Going theater first, not getting poked out initially. Really, really good. Eating up this poke. Resetting their shield. This is really good. Going to contest now together. Oh, Dalton. Too far forward, man. You want to initially be standing there, or like whenever the rest of the team is actually like in the choke and you're actually able to shoot them, but whenever they're like already past the statue and are able to contest you for free, you're gonna get punished really hard there. Ace of Spades walks too far forward though. Damn, I think Savage threw that. They got too like hypey after killing that soldier and they walked too far forward and took a lot of poke from the Junkrat, where they could have played it really slow and then come back to contest. They still have more time though, like a lot more time. They still have a minute 10. But I think that was super winnable for them if they had just taken the kill, reset, pushed up slowly. You want Hui to maintain his energy here because your win condition is still getting the grav combo. Again, they've walked through this choke again. They didn't go through theater and be smart, and so they've taken a lot of poke. You can see all their HP bars from the poke. Both tires don't end up getting anything. Ace of Spades playing too aggressive again. He's too far forward. They're using Valk. I don't know, man. They're using Valk to like make it a 6v6.
And they do finally have the Dragon Strike, but only 62% of the grab.
How do they throw this?
They use Dragon Strike to split the teams up. Can they find the kills they're looking for? Panker's so low that he still can't find any kills.
Poro gets 3.
Oh.
I thought Savages win this. Wait, they end up winning this, don't they? Or is this a best of 5? I can't remember. Banker's hiding. They end up touching, I'm pretty sure. How in the world do they win this? Panker gets 1 with his shatter. Cracklocken's low though in Hakume. The HP bars seem to be in favor of Toronto. What even happens? Oh no. Does Derek just reset on low people? Oh no, Moth. What was that res? How in the world did they throw that? That was the easiest hold for them. Okay, Toronto definitely should have won this. 12 seconds left. There's 3 people that just respawned, and 3 are still respawning.
That was an excellent
Panker should just stand in the choke right here. He doesn't need to be hiding. He just needs to get them like walking in the choke.
the double trans. Hakume and
You stand and contest them here because they're hiding. Okay, he gets insta-killed. That's fine for Toronto.
at the same time, excuse
But like, just shatter.
Lynch, however,
It takes too long. Lucio's already over here. So he gets 1 with a shatter.
not doing anything in a shadow.
Who ends up living long? Oh, if Hui would have gotten grab, it would have been even worse for them. But Kowloon ends up getting like so far onto the point because he's sped so fast. Panker ends up like shattering and like going over here, but there's not enough damage left for Toronto.
Panker able to get the kill.
Like they have Mercy, a half HP Reinhardt and Genji compared to like a 3/4 health Genji, full Lucio. Whatever health tracer doesn't really matter. But look, Panker has to heal here. They're basically just sitting with Lucio sustained and not getting contested because it's just a Genji. Mercy this res. Dude, Moth, why are you throwing, dude? Oh my goodness. Derek's just able to reset on them. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they managed that, dude. That was so many throws from Toronto.
Able to get one.
Oh.
Now Hakume making his way back. Krakenlaken makes his way back to finally grab at the
They grab them in the choke.
Lucio and Savages are able to do it.
Wow. Okay, so Savages was mad clutch there. Derek Kowloon carried that by dodging that shatter and actually getting onto the point so he could sustain his Genji and Tracer up. And then they just brawled them in Toronto through so hard, going for so many like aggressive and like cocky plays, going for the risky res in front of like the whole team or like half the team out in the open. Panker going for this like really risky flank shatter that gets 1 down and the rest get bubbled or just are already past them because they got amp speed boosted. Then he ends up charging and like there's so many members that just they thought they had the win and then they just didn't play it aggressively enough in the position that they needed to play in. So they end up getting punished. Wow.